What's up, New World players? So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about a potential risky investment you can make today for potentially a huge payout down the road. Before I get into the details, let's take a look at this quick clip that was shared directly from the developers.
Any plans to reduce, simplify, remove the ward system?
Yes. No, we've heard the feedback loud and clear. We agree with it. We think it's overly complex. It creates too much of a gear chase, and a chase that's not fun, right? Like
Yeah.
what we've talked about is like the classless system in New World is one of its greatest strengths, right? Like the ability to experiment, try different builds, like super, super fun. But the problem is people are so occupied with getting banes and wards and resilient sets for PvP, they can't enjoy the fun stuff.
Yeah.
So we want to remove this complexity and allow people to dig into the fun stuff.
Yeah.
So we know that Bane and Ward is disappearing, but he also made a small mention of Resilient, right? Everyone knows that when it comes to PvP, you basically need Resilient or else it's kind of a meh piece for the most part. There's a few exceptions, of course, but hey, that's basically how it goes today. But if they end up deciding to remove Resilient, just like Ward and Bane, that means there's going to be brand new best in slot pieces. Primarily Elemental Aversion, Freedom, and Shirking Fortification. Now on my server, there's currently no pieces that have all three of those perks, but regardless, we're going to do some hunting just to see if there's any cheap items we can pick up. The first search I'm doing here is Elemental Aversion and Freedom. I'm basically seeing if there's any third perk with the combination of these two that would make it potentially best in slot. So I'm looking for Refreshing Evasion, or even like a very useful weapon perk that people typically have on their armor or equipment that might boost the overall value if this change actually gets implemented. Again, they mentioned that Ward and Bane will not be kind of live until hopefully the end of the year. So if they do this Resilient move, it probably won't be until like 2024 realistically. But regardless, I'm keeping my eyes open for some potential best in slot 3 perkers that do not include Resilient, with the hope that they may actually remove it down the road, boosting the overall value of the piece and giving me a major profit. This piece doesn't look too bad. It's about 3,400 gold. Freedom, Elemental Aversion, Refreshing Evasion can be used on a lot of different classes, so I'm just going to pick up that piece real quick right there. And again, I don't recommend taking this risky approach if you don't have a lot of gold. I'm sitting on a pretty good stash right now, so I figured, hey, I'll buy a few pieces, throw it in my stash, and kind of see what happens down the road. Again, this is kind of how it goes when it comes to making some risky investments in New World, right? We know that there's probably going to be a balance of power in regards to some unused perks. So again, maybe it's worth picking up some of those different crafting mods for specific weapon perks that currently are underutilized today, with hopes that it'll get a huge buff and actually be used more across PvP or PvE. I'm going to go ahead and just let the rest of the video play. But again, what I'm doing here is essentially looking for pretty cheap equipment that utilize Freedom, Elemental Aversion, and Shirking Fortification, some sort of combination between the 3 or 2 of them in a useful third perk. Again, risky move, but hey, why not take the risk if there could be potentially a huge payout? And if these are currently cheap today, it's worth the investment. Take a look. Let me know your thoughts in the comments too, because I know this might be a little bit of a discussion when it comes to what the new best in slot would be if Resilient is removed. But again, hey, why not take the risk if you've got the money? There's not much going on right now in New World until Season 2 really kicks off, so might as well kind of take some time, evaluate the situation, see what's out there, and based on that, make your decision. If you made it this far in the video, first of all, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the content. And secondly, I just wanted to call out again that I'm making this investment because I've got gold to actually kind of fall back on, and it's not going to impact me a lot. If you don't have a lot of gold, I'm not sure if it's worth making this risky investment, but that's up to you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on whether or not Resilient will either make its exit or stick around a bit longer, and if it does, what the best move would be today.